What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my review of a lesser known movie. It's a foreign film. It's called Train to Busan. Okay, first let me start off by saying this is a foreign film. It's a Korean movie. It's in subtitles. So if you don't like foreign films and subtitles, this one is not for you. And also, if you don't know, understand, or particularly like Asian market films, which I don't know how to say this. It's not that they're bad, but it's a different style of acting. It's a different style of action. And the dialogue is written differently than we write here. Now, I'm not going to say that any of it is poorer or less quality than we have, but it's different. So if none of that stuff minds you, or you're just not familiar with it and you want to check out the movie because you love zombie movies, check this one out, okay? Non-spoiler, I'm going to tell you as little about the movie as I can, while still trying to tell you as much about the movie as I can. So it's a zombie outbreak film. When the movie starts, the outbreak hasn't really begun yet. We get an opening scene which kind of hints at what's about to take place. And then we get a little bit of exposition as far as the characters go. We get introduction to the various characters that we'll be following. So while I'm not going to take all video and tell you about every single character in the movie, not that there's a whole bunch, I'm going to mainly focus on 3 people in the movie. But we're going to follow, the group that we follow is, I'm going to say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 7 people that we're going to be dealing with the whole movie. But like I said, I'm only going to really focus on 3 of them. Okay, so the main characters of the movie, the basic crux of the movie, what's going to hold it all together is a father and daughter. Now, as a parent, this relationship, the way it plays out between the 2 characters, resonated with me quite a bit. And maybe that's why I have a little bit more affection towards this movie than a few other people I spoke to. But everybody that I put on to this movie has liked it so far. And I have yet to come across someone who saw it on their own. I mean, in my own personal life, I have yet to come across someone who saw it on their own without me first telling them about it. So I don't really think it's a very wide known movie. I failed to do a YouTube search to see how many people have already reviewed this movie. Alright, so we start off with a father and daughter who have a bit of a tumultuous relationship. The daughter lives with the father, or at least part of the time. And where the movie starts is basically he's going to take her to her mother to stay there for her however long. And they're getting to Busan, which is where the mother is, via train. Hence the name of the title, Train to Busan. Now, there's the way the zombies are handled is good. It's a little low budgety. It's a little TV-ish. Definitely nowhere as good as you see the zombies handled in Dawn of the Dead or Walking Dead. It's more reminiscent to how the old, like the George Romero zombies are, where they look fairly human, but, diseased and stuff. They're not like decaying bodies. But this does take place at the beginning of a zombie apocalypse, where there wouldn't be any decaying bodies. It would just be all infected. This isn't slow, mindless zombies. These are actually fast zombies who are thinkers. They remind me slightly, not in design, just by in behavior, of The Last of Us. Those of you, sorry, who played the game The Last of Us, they're more similar to that, or like some Resident Evil zombies, than they are The Walking Dead or Romero zombies. But they're terrifying. The best part of this movie, other than the father-daughter relationship and how that part of the movie plays out, my favorite part was the way they scared me. And you could tell they were done on a low budget, and they were still scary. And they're thinkers. They're able to kind of deduct and reason and figure things out. They're not just like flesh, brains, eat. So that was definitely an enjoyable part of the movie. And then the other character we're going to talk about. So the father and daughter relationship plays out great. It's very realistic to me in how they respond to each other throughout the movie. And, their bond kind of grows with the movie. So we're actually watching their bond grow, the father and daughter. Very, very good representation of that relationship, I feel. All the other characters are good. They all kind of fall into different tropes. The kind of tough guy, the comic relief, family man, that type of teenage love, angst, those types of characters all fall in here. And then you have the villain, who's the other character I want to talk about, who's a great villain. In a way, he's a little mustache twirly, but most Asian film villains, not to stereotype or group them all in, but from that market, most of the villains are kind of mustache twirly, Bond-esque kind of villains. Not that we don't have them in the U.S. We sure as shit have tons of them. But that seems to be a kind of a norm and a trope still in the Asian market movies. Okay, but he's a good villain because you understand him. At times, you might even agree with his decision-making and his choices. He's a total scumbag, but he's realistic. He's a realistic villain in this movie, in this world. Even though he's slightly mustache twirly, he is very, very much grounded in reality. The action is good. It's heart-pumping. It's creative. The way they get out of these situations is creative. And the entire movie takes place on the train. Basically, the 95% of the movie is on the train, which is also very creative and very tense for a zombie film. Think about it. Hundreds of people on a train. Most of them are flesh-eating zombies. And you're in this tight... If you've ever ridden on a train, especially on a long period of time, you know how tight the quarters are. So imagine being able to try to maneuver around and fight all these zombies in that atmosphere. Great tension. The action was great. I loved it. Check it out. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. You're only losing a point because you can tell it's made on a low budget, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you really shouldn't be able to tell. It shouldn't take you out of the experience, and it did a few times for me. And then subtitles always takes me out of a movie. Not that I don't have a good attention span or anything like that, but when you have to constantly put your eyes to the bottom of the screen to read and then back up for the action, it takes you out of it. So for me, that's why it lost a point. But it's a solid zombie movie. It's one of the better zombie movies I've seen ever. I put it up there. Do I say it's the best or near the top of that list? No. It's towards the bottom of my favorite zombie films, but still a solid film. Train to Busan. Go check it out. I'm sure you can find it on demand, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. There's probably even some small theaters that play it. It came out last year, I think. So at this point, you're probably going to have to look to video on demand, online, wherever you like to watch your movies. It may even be on Netflix. I'm not really sure. But definitely check it out. Train to Busan, 4 out of 5 stars. If you're not a huge zombie nut, take a half a point off and give it a 3.5. That's it for this vid. It was a little longer than I wanted. I'm trying to cut these down for you guys. So let me know what you think down below. Your comments, if you saw the movie, if you want to see the movie, you like this video, you don't like the video, you got anything to say at all, please hit me up down below. Of course, if you do like it, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. That's it for this video, and I will see you next time.